What is up, everybody? It's time to get back to the woods. Going back to one of my favorite spots. It's about a 4-mile hike. I did leave a little bit early this morning because there might be some weather moving in. You can see it's pretty foggy, but there's almost no wind. What little wind we do have is knocking it rained last night, so it's knocking all the rain off the leaves, and I might be a little bit wet by the time I get to camp, but I can always change my clothes. And I am super excited. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm pretty excited about tonight. Reconnecting with an old friend of mine, terra firma. So that might give away my my latest purchase. But, you know, just got to get down the trail. I'm going to enjoy a little bit of a hike because I could just jet straight there and, you know, no time flat. But I kind of want to do a loop, and it's about 4 miles, maybe a little bit over. Just get some good quality, alone, woods time. Wow, it is amazing back here. There's no sounds whatsoever. I can't hear a highway. I can't hear people. I can hear animals. That's it. It's just quiet. Almost feels like I could be 50 miles from anything. Just out in the middle of nowhere. I couldn't even ballpark how close the next human being is. My guess would probably be about 5 miles, maybe. But it's just gorgeous back here. Humidity is playing a factor. I am sweating. These hills are kicking my butt. But, you know, I'll get to the campsite and peel off a few layers and start to cool down a little bit. I'm pretty sure my waterproof boots are not waterproof anymore. Pretty sure they're getting pretty slushy. Well, that's all right. I don't think it's supposed to get cold tonight. Not like it's winter, you know. That's when you really got to start worrying about moisture. But just gorgeous back here. I mean, look at this trail I'm about to go down. Just awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, according to this signpost, we're almost there, which is good because, you know, wandering around in the woods here, I lost all track of time. I just been taking my time, trying not to work up too much of a sweat, but I did it anyway because I'm out of shape. But I'm getting hungry. I am getting hungry. Shh. You hear that? Yeah, me neither. That's the sound of nothing. That is the sound of awesome. That's what that is. But let's get down the trail. See you at the campsite. There it is, the latest purchase. The Eureka Suma 2 tent. Yes, a tent. Set up on good old terra firma. Yep, solid ground, Mother Earth, if you will. And I wanted to do a setup video on it, but as soon as I got to the campsite, it started raining, and it doesn't look like it's going to let up. So, threw up my hummingbird tarp, got everything underneath the picnic table, tried checking the weather, but I didn't have time. It was hard enough trying to find a good spot for this thing. It's been years since I have slept in a tent. So, you know, maybe next time I'll get a setup on it. So yes, it is a tent, and no, I'm not giving up on hammocks. I just, you know, through the years I've been hiking around on these trails and stuff, and I'm finding these new campsites, and yes, you could probably hang a hammock, but it's more designed or geared towards a tent. A tent has the best real estate as far as that campsite goes. The one I found, it's all pine needles on the floor and next to the fire pit, and the trees are enormous, and it's right next to the lake. But to get a hammock in there, you would actually have to venture off into the woods and try to find a spot to hang a hammock. To where if you had a tent, you would be right there in the campsite. So, you know, I've been researching them for about 1.5 years, and I came across this channel, Life with Colonel Lee, and he actually tests tents and whatnot, and he camps in various different ways. And I kind of settled on this Eureka Suma 2 because he didn't test it, you know, the common way, to where you set it up, you sleep in it, you give the specs, and that's your review. No, he actually set it up in a Thunderstorm and Tornado Watch and stuff like that, and I'll have the link down below to that video. So after passing that test, I thought, you know what, it's the size I want, it's the weight I want, it's pretty much everything I want. You know, yeah, ooh, it's only got one door, but it's just me. What do I care if I have 2 doors? Normally, if I'm in my tent, if I'm camping at all, I'm sleeping alone until I get the wife into it. I'm trying. So yeah, I decided on this one, and you know, I picked it up from Eureka.com, and I'll put a link down below. You probably don't want to play full retail like I did, but I went to some of these other sites, and you know, it looked a little sketchy, so I just decided to go to the maker of the tent itself and buy, you know, full-blown retail, because I am hoping it's going to be the product that I need for, you know, my needs. For more on this tent and the specs and whatnot, let's go to Professor Melvin. Unfortunately, Professor Melvin could not be here today, so I'm filling in. I don't know much about tents, but I'll wing it. So, we have the Eureka Suma 2. Luckily for me, it has the specs right on the front. So it's 88 inches long, 55 inches wide at the head, 43 inches wide at the foot, so it narrows towards the foot. It's got a 43-inch center height, so I am able to sit up inside of it with room to spare. So that's pretty nice. It says 3.12 ounce minimum weight. Not sure what that means. I guess, you know, 'cause right out of the box it was 4.2 pounds. So to hit sub 4, maybe you leave the stuff sacks at home. I don't know. So inside the bag, we have 2 aluminum tent poles, 7 aluminum stakes. So that's 4 for the tent body, 2 for the rainfly vents, and 1 for the vestibule. It does not have the 4 other stakes that you would need to stake out in high wind. It does come with the cordage, but not the stakes. So you get the 4 long cordages for high wind stakeout, 2 short ones for the rainfly vent stakeouts. And you have the tent body and rainfly. I roll it into one. As far as size, not bad. Weight, not bad. The major complaint I did see was it only has 1 door, but I bought it as a solo tent because I like having the extra room. I did have a one-man Bushnell Rome Series bivvy and didn't care for it. I want the extra room, so I never had planned on having 2 people in this thing. As far as the material goes, I'm not real sure, so I'm just gonna throw it right over there. It does not have the polyethylene floor, so that generic tarp feeling stuff doesn't have it. It's got regular material, you know, like tent material. It's probably, I don't know, Taffeta 70D maybe. I forgot what all those were, which means you would probably need a footprint. Eureka does sell one for the Suma 2. I think it's about 40 bucks, but it's just material lay on the ground, not necessarily waterproof. Just helps with abrasion, really. But I do have, this is a heavy duty emergency blanket from Walmart. So it's silver on one side, orange on the other. 5x7 is the dimensions on this, and it's 13.6 ounces. It is heavy duty enough to protect my tent floor. If you want to do the cheaper route, we have house wrap or Tyvek. This is more of a plasticky feeling kind of stuff rather than Tyvek. Tyvek is more of a fibrous material, maybe a little bit quieter because this is, you know, plastic. But it should protect against abrasions, which is its main purpose. I do plan on getting an emergency blanket and maybe tacking that on to here, you know, maybe with some tape or something, and see if that can't bounce some body heat back to me in the cooler months. You know, with my sleeping pad and the emergency blanket underneath, maybe it'll radiate back up. I don't know if that'd work or not. Maybe leave a comment and tell me if you've tried it. Tell me if it works, because that's my plan. I'll spend the 97 cents and try that out. So, I hope that covers pretty much everything. Back to you. Well, maybe we'll catch up with Professor Melvin at a later date. Good job anyway. I did go with the heavy duty emergency blanket as a footprint on this one today. I put it silver side up. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I thought with the rain and the way the ground is, you know, that little extra abrasion protection might come in handy. But it's so humid today. It is just sticky. So, but if it keeps raining, you know, I might luck out and it's going to cool off and I'll sleep nice and comfortably. Because I bought myself the Climate Static V. Purchased it from Walmart about a year and a half ago with my intention of, you know, sleeping back on the ground again. This weighs in at 20.5 ounces in the stuff sack with the patches. On the bag itself it says 18.7. I don't know where they're coming up with that number, but on my scale, it was 20.5. I do have a Hammock Gear Economy Down pillow. I have the Stratus Topquilt from Go Outfitters for tonight. My pack on the way in, I weighed it at home, it was 19.2 pounds, and that's with everything I brought. This morning I got up and decided that I was not going to wear my rain gear, so that went into the pack. I grabbed an extra bottle of water, I threw that in the pack. So my pack ended up being just under 21 pounds. So, you know, being a two-man tent setup, not bad really. I'm used to carrying between 25 and 30 pounds. So having 21 is kind of nice. And, you know, put down the 4 miles and worked out great. It is still sprinkling a little bit. So let's get a weather report from Griff. Yeah, Griff couldn't make it either. So I'm going to do the weather. As you can see, there is some rain coming. They're talking about later on tonight, possible gusty winds, damaging winds, possible flooding. So it's a good test for this tent. You know, watch that video by Life with Colonel Lee. He tested it to the extreme. I was satisfied with his results, so it's my turn to try it. While you're on his channel, maybe you subscribe, huh? Well, that is a bummer. We'll have to see Griff later on down the trail, I guess. So hopefully this tent does what it's supposed to do, what I saw in videos, what I read on reviews. You know, it should withstand anything that's going to come my way tonight. I cannot wait to try this thing out. Like I said, it's been years since I've been in a tent. I've never had a vestibule before. I've always had cheap tents. So this is something brand new for me. I cannot wait to try this thing out. The last tent I was in, like I said, was my Rome series. I slept on a generic air pad. Air pad was very comfortable. The tent, I mean, it wasn't a bad tent. It was just small. And that was the point of it. It was only 3 pounds. Kind of gave up on my weight ratings and whatnot because obviously I can pack better now. Back then, I threw it all in. You know, I'm bringing it with. I don't care what the weight is. This time I did leave a lot of things at home. I wanted to do the bare minimum. So, you know, no speaker, no French press, nothing fancy. We'll see if I make it. Maybe I'll just start going a little crazy. So there is one thing I'd like to go over with the dome tent style. The dimensions they give you are the floor, the very bottom, the very floor, what is touching the ground. In a dome tent, the walls immediately start coming in. Now I'm 6'4", I wear a size 13 shoe, and I'm not sure how fat my head is. So I just went with the average of a 12-inch ruler. I stood that up on the floor and leaned it up against the wall. When I figured it was about level, I marked the bottom with tape. Then I measured from the very bottom corner of where the wall starts coming up, this very bottom, into where it was touching the tape. That's 7 inches. So from 7 inches on the head end, 7 inches on the foot end, if I'm laying flat on my back, I'm losing 14 inches of area before my body starts hitting the tent wall. So, you know, that's something to consider when you're buying a tent is, yes, these are the dimensions. I also have a 5x7 Coleman tent. And being 7 foot, I'm 6'4". Hey, I fit. No, I do not. When I lay on my back, especially when I'm on my air pad, which is about 1.5 inches, my head and my feet touch the tent body. And that's a single wall with just this little cap for a rainfly on the top, not the full rainfly like the Suma 2. So if it's not waterproof, I'm going to be transferring water wherever I'm touching the tent. Luckily, I'm a side sleeper, so normally, you know, I have my knees tucked in, my back bent a little bit, my head down, and that allows, you know, that extra room. That's how I fit on these pads that aren't actually my length and into these tents, because I don't sleep on my back normally. There are some times where I'll fall asleep on my back, but I toss and turn so much, in bed, in a tent, in the hammock, everything. So, you know, that's just something to consider when you're buying a tent and you're looking at the dimensions of the tent, thinking, you know, that you want to fit in this thing, but you want to fit in it comfortably. You know, you don't want to be touching the tent walls. This one has the double walls, so even if I do touch the tent body, I'm not actually touching the rain fly. Now this tent I haven't treated at all. This is right out of the box, from box to site, pretty much. I did set it up once or twice at home just to kind of get familiar with it. The Coleman I did treat. I got the silicone spray and I treated that one. I haven't slept in it yet. But, you know, things to consider. Luckily for the Suma 2, it has a little ring or a hook. I don't remember. The Rainfly has a hook, and I think the tent body has the ring. So once you put the Rainfly on, you can hook the Rainfly to the tent body on that ring on the head end. So when you do stake it out for ventilation, it pulls for more headroom. So that was a huge bonus that, you know, I didn't catch that before. So it's just something that I discovered when I bought the tent. You know, hidden feature, I guess. Well, finally got settled in. Now it's time for some lunch. This lunch is ramen. Beef ramen. I cannot say enough good things about this Jetboil. It has been flawless since I bought it. The only problem I have with it is I can't find these little fuel canisters anywhere near me. I have to travel about an hour and a half to get the small ones. And yes, I could use the Coleman from Walmart, but I did find out it does not burn the same as the Jetboil. Last trip I went on, I think it was horse camping with the wife. I made coffee with my big Coleman and my Jetboil stove, and it did not burn the same. It was different. So I would like to stick to Jetboil, but I'd have to travel to go get it. And last time I tried to find some, they were sold out. So it may become a problem for me. Not that I don't have stove options, you know, there's always the Fancy Feast. That thing has never let me down. So I'm going to have some lunch, probably crawl in the tent and watch a movie and wait for this rain to pass over a little bit. The rain has subsided for now. The sun is trying to peek out a little bit, and I think this is the perfect opportunity to just relax and do nothing. Best way for me to relax that I can think of is in a hammock. And I guess if I'm going to do it in a hammock, why not do it in a marshmallow? Yes, this is my homemade hammock. I call it the Marshmallow, and it's time to hop in and enjoy some hang time. Well, the day's winding down. You can see the sunset behind me here. And this video does not do it justice. I'm going to pop a picture in so you can really see what's going on. Sprinkles have started, so that second system must be moving in. I can hear thunder in the distance. I haven't had supper yet. You know, it's not late, but it's not early. I think it's around 7-ish. Still warm, still nice, still quiet, still no wind. It's been an awesome, awesome day in the woods. Very, very, very quiet. I only heard one person all day. And that's, you know, it's been 12 hours. Well, almost 12 hours since I've been out here. But I think it's going to be about time to hop in the tent and start editing. We'll see you in the morning. Woo! Good morning. Slept okay. My shoulders are sore. You know, I sleep on my sides, and the pad didn't lose air. Well, it's full of air. It's just the way I think the tent is set up. I might have a slight angle towards the head, which creates more pressure onto my shoulders. I'm not sure. It's been so long since I've set up a tent and slept in a tent. Not that it was bad. Just got to sleep on my stomach for a little while. It did start raining shortly after I went to bed. I was in my tent editing videos and whatnot. Laid down to go to sleep, and shortly after that it started raining and the wind picked up, and luckily I'm kind of tucked into the trees, so the wind wasn't too violent for my tent, but we got wind, we got rain, no leaks, nothing. I can't find a single drop inside this thing. So right out of the box, I'm bone dry. So that is awesome. This is the gear loft that it comes with. It's detachable. And then this up here is actually the ceiling. So I have quite a bit of room until, you know, before I start hitting the ceiling and sitting upright. Not bad. But I think it's time for some breakfast. I already got my coffee made. This morning it's peaches and cream oatmeal. Well, folks, all good things must come to an end, and that's the end of this trip. You can see where my tent was. And you can see this dark spot right there. That is where my head was. So not a very good spot for a tent, but I had to throw it up in a hurry because it was started to rain. That might have been part of my sleeping problem. Who knows? I'll have to try it again. Not that I'm in a hurry to get back in a tent. I would like to get back to my hammock. The tent is for, you know, specific spots or specific situations. Not that I won't use it, but I probably won't use it as much as a hammock. And when I got up this morning, I got out of the tent and I started actually cleaning it off so I could put it away. And it must have poured as well as the wind, because this whole side of my tent right here was just dirt, mud, grit. And as I'm wiping off the rain fly, there was debris all over it. So I don't know how violent it got last night, but apparently I slept through it. So that's about it. Until next time, stay happy, campers.